So, you know, I think the answer is pretty obvious considering there were two recent homicides at this particular camp. But can I just have you speak to what led to the city's decision to close today?
The city decided to close this camp because we've had 2 murders in this camp in a month's time. That is just incredible danger, and we did want to wait until the weather broke. We've had extreme cold, and while we've been trying to encourage people to move to shelters and to warmer places, there have been some residents here at this camp that have remained even through this brutal cold. Today was really the first day without the cold and the rain that we could assist in moving things without ruining them.
And how long has the city been in conversations with the people who've been staying in this camp, approximately?
The city's been doing outreach work here, and so have all of our great outreach partners for months. So this camp is not new, and you know, it just really got to a point where it was not safe.
And you know, what exactly do those conversations usually entail? Because the city does outreach work like this, like you mentioned last time, in early June. What does outreach entail when it comes to removing homeless camps?
Well, I think people might be surprised to know that we have multiple departments involved in outreach work to those who are unhoused. So, of course, our Public Works Department is coming out with trash bags so that people can keep their areas tidy, and then we actually have been picking them up until it became too unsafe for our staff to be out here. Then we have Downtown Resource Officer who works not only coming out to check on people, to match them up with services and to let them know what's available and check on their well-being, but then also is involved with helping people find their next place to go. We do offer, when we have to close a camp, we offer to the residents of the camp storage of their belongings, so that while they are in transit to their next place, they don't have to lose their belongings. And then, of course, our Community and Family Resources Department has the After Hours Ambassador Program, and that's been really very effective, not only in working directly with people who are unhoused, but also with our local residents, businesses, and service providers to make sure we're working as much as a team as possible to provide a safe city for everyone.
And you mentioned, you know, their belongings. Do you know, will their belongings be taken to the substation by Switchyard that you mentioned last time?
So that is usually where we take people to kind of get into an office situation where we can talk about next steps. We do have our partners here today from HealthNet, from IU Health, and from Beacon. And so those outreach workers are assisting with those conversations. I actually don't know. We're still packing up. If those outreach workers are finding places for them before we even get to that situation or not.
Sure. And, you know, I meant to ask earlier, do you have an indication of approximately how many people have been staying here prior to the city's decision to remove the camp?
I've heard various estimates. We only have 4 or 5 people left here now. We had noticed this for move on Monday because the length of time for the notice we want to be adequate. But then the rain made it such that we really didn't want to ask people to have to move their belongings in the rain.
And, you know, the notice that was posted on, I believe it was January 19th, it was a 72-hour notice. The last one was 48 hours, and I was speaking with Angela Van Roy. She said that the form has been updated, the notice has been updated whenever, you know, a camp is clear. Can you just speak to what led to the decision to change it from 48 hours to 72 hours?
In working with our service providers and trying to address some of the requests by the Housing Network for best practices. We know that people need adequate notice in order to take care of their belongings and start moving them. And so we're committed to giving as much notice as we can. This really was an urgent situation, and after that second murder, service providers and our departments really felt like we needed to move as quickly as possible. We did put a hold on it for the weather, though.
Sure. Okay. And this is the second time since the beginning of the year our campus has been cleared, and I'm just curious. Can you speak to just like what would your approach be for addressing homelessness and situations like this in the future?
My approach is dignity, compassion, and safety. Those are the three priorities, and my vision is that we need to be at a place where we can say to everybody who is from Bloomington, we can offer you a place with a roof over your head and services so that your health needs can be met. We're not there, and that's not going to be a tomorrow process, but I'm working with the service providers. I've engaged the faith communities now. We will have an all hands on deck to get to dignity, compassion, and safety for all Bloomington residents.
And finally, do you know if for those that you mentioned who are here today, an alternate living situation has been worked out for any of them? Do you know how many?
So I've talked to 3 of them, and one of them knows where he's going, and the other 2 have been offered possibilities but haven't yet decided.
Mayor Thomson, is there anything else you think that the public should know, or anything?
Just really that we could use all kinds of partnership in addressing this challenge. This is a nationwide challenge. It's not just here in Bloomington, but we are a compassionate, creative enough community that we can get to a solution that really works for our community.